word feel or feelings is so commonplace that few folks consider how it's taken over the entire body and soul, our complete dichotomy. We have normalized feelings to the point that it supplants our thoughts rather than our feelings reacting to our thoughts. Let me give you a few examples of what I'm talking about. This is common speak today. What do you feel like eating tonight, honey? Or how do you feel about that? How does that make you feel? What are you feeling right now? How do you feel about what he said to you? I'll get around to it when I feel like it. Those are just a few illustrations of common speak that we're all familiar with, and I'm sure that all of us have said some version of those things. There is a place to talk about our feelings, but only in a limited way. For example, we might say, I feel sick, and that is a good way to describe what is happening. Connecting our feelings to our organic selves to describe what is happening is not necessarily inappropriate as long as our diagnosis goes deeper than just what it feels like. You feel sick. Okay, I understand what you are saying, but let's go a little deeper. What are your thoughts about your sickness? How are you taking your thoughts captive? How are you thinking on things that are true and lovely and good report? How are your thoughts managing you now rather than just stuck out here in the emotional clouds of feelings by saying that I feel sick? Now, I'm not suggesting doing away with the word feeling altogether, but what I am suggesting is that we reduce its usage rate by about 90%. Suppose we did leave all statements and all questions on the surface of our feelings up here in the cloud of our emotions. Well, in that case, we will miss the transformative opportunities between each other while potentially perpetuating a victim mindset. For example, I am a victim to my feelings. This is how I feel about it, rather than being an active agent who can think differently about what is happening to me. And so the critical takeaway here is that when a person uses words like feel and feeling, we must pause and ask ourselves a few insightful questions. For example, is that the most accurate way to describe what is happening to them? Or if it's not, what potential harm will it cause to be feeling centered? And this is where we can make the empathetic error where a person says, I just don't my feelings about this is such and such, and then we could take up an offense. We could just jump in with them and commiserate with them rather than hearing what they're actually saying and then hopefully walking them to a better place to where they can take their thoughts captive. And so that leads to question number three. Do I have the relationship equity with this person to say something to them? And then finally, do I talk this way? Meaning, do you talk this way also? And if I do talk this way, how can I change so that I am thinking more about my thoughts than my feelings? Minimally, our feelings is just an entryway to get down to our thoughts. But if we hang out in a feeling centered universe, then we can go to all sorts of places, which we're seeing in our culture today. I feel like a woman, rather than our thoughts are, no, you are not a woman. This may be how that you feel. And so let's really diagnose what is going on rather than commiserating, making the empathetic error, or in this case, they call it affirmative care, where you affirm their feelings. And then, of course, you make the transition. You help them to transition from a man to a woman. And so the usage rate for feelings need to be reduced drastically. And we need to think about how we use this word and is it proper and complete, or should we move from feelings down to our thoughts so that we can receive the potential help that we need when something is happening to us?